Hi, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Coffee and Conversations with Student Life. I'm excited today to have my guest speaker, Dr. Christy Heaton. She works with a lot of offices on campus. She's going to do an introduction in a second and tell you who she works with. Specifically, I've asked her here to talk about second year students in today's video. And so, Christy, before we get going, do you got your coffee?
I do.
All right, we're ready to go. Let's have a little coffee chat. So we're going to talk about second year students. I'm curious to know from you, what kind of assumptions do colleges make about the transition from first year to second year in college?
Yeah, great question. So I think, unfortunately, sometimes colleges and universities mistakenly assume that second year students know what they're doing, right? That they've figured it all out that first year. They know where all their resources are. They know about every building on campus. They know how to be involved. And unfortunately, that's just not true. I think, we as higher education, not just VCU Denver, put a lot of focus on the first year experience. And I think we should continue to do that. And also develop more for students as they're transitioning into their second year. I mean, life is full of transitions. College is full of transitions. And one of those is going from year one to year two. Not to mention, this past year, we were in a global pandemic. I mean, technically, we're still in it, right? But so our current second year students who may have started in one of our fall, one of our 2020 semesters, whether that was summer 2020 or fall 2020, heck, spring 2020, even if they started in spring, they didn't have a full non-COVID.
No, they were on campus 6 weeks and then got sent home.
Exactly. And then our spring 21 students, they have yet to experience a quote unquote regular semester on our campus. And so there are a lot of challenges at play. And so all those things that we assume about second year students when we're not in a pandemic, I think were just compounded this past year with all of the additional things that they were navigating and learning and whether they were maybe working also in a remote space and then trying to learn what it meant to be a college student, but then also having that course load in spaces like this, or even asynchronous. A lot of them had online asynchronous courses, which was often new to them as well. And then they physically weren't on our campus. And now we're like, hey, everybody, welcome back. And second year students are like, welcome back. I wasn't here.
Never been here.
What are these buildings? And what are these things that, what do these resources look like? And so I think now is a crucial time as ever to really serve and support not just our new traditional first years and transfer students, but also our second year students as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that you mentioned all the impacts with the pandemic and doing the transition, and now it's something brand new as they're here. What is CU Denver doing to support our second year specifically this fall?
Yeah, so we have a lot of things going on, which are really exciting. So I have the pleasure of working with our student transition team, which means that's our new student orientation, first year experiences and peer advocate leader program, our Center for Undergraduate Exploration and Advising, transfer initiatives, and family engagement. And so within those units, as well as some of our partners on campus, we have an array of activities and initiatives and courses even for second year students. So one of the things that we did is partnering with folks like you and our friends over in the events is when we had new student convocation a couple of weeks ago, right. There was a portion of convocation, that lunch and that organization fair, that second year students were also invited to participate in because they didn't have that last year. They're coming back to campus and trying to figure out what it means to be involved and what can be involved. So they were invited to that. We have been running spotlight tours, which means we're spotlighting different areas of campus that we think new students will spend a lot of time in. And so second year students were invited and have been participating in that. We have a jam tent set up outside our new Learning Commons building. Jam stands for Just Ask Me. So second year students were encouraged to stop by there, get information, folks from your team, the Student Life team, the Learning Resource Center, our Steffi team of admissions have all helped support that. And it's actually going through the rest of this week. It ran all last week. First year experiences is running our UNIV 1112, which is a major and career exploration course. We're running a fall section just for second years this year that students can take and really, if they're still exploring their major, take that and think about what that means. Or if they've selected a major, is still kind of looking at what that exploration around their career could be.
Is that a class they could take next spring as a second year as well, if they are hearing about it and the class has already started right now?
So yes, our hope is to also run that course in the spring as well. So that's UNIV 1112, major and career exploration. A little sneak peek, FYE is also looking to develop a couple other new courses around kind of some general wellness and maybe financial literacy. That's in the works. Those have not officially been approved. We're hoping that we can get those up and running. And that would be something, if it's approved for spring, that second year students would be targeted to participate at. Targeted sounds awful. Outreach, we would do some outreach, right, for them to participate. Yeah. We think that they're really beneficial. And then the Learning Resource Center are running the second year academic success series, SAS for short.
Nice. Okay.
Those are all semester long for second year students to come into their new space, our new space here in Learning Commons, and get some really great tips and resources around academic success. The Wellness Bash, we will be at the Wellness Bash tomorrow with your team and the Wellness Center folks. We are running second year interest groups.
Oh, yes. Tell them about Animal Crossing and all those other groups.
Yes. So we have some really cool second year interest groups. Basically are interest groups for second year students around topics that they might be excited about. So we're running 4 this fall. One is around Animal Crossing. So that is a new game that came out last year, and I am old, so I forget, like, if I don't remember. It's like not Nintendo. I'm really dating myself, but it came out in one of those formats. Right. So they had their first meeting last week. There were a lot of students in it. They had it
awesome.
Big screen. We have a K-pop group that
awesome.
Hamilton is running. We have a group called The Artist's Way. So if you're a second year student, you're really into art, you don't have to be a CAM major, but if you're into that, that's for you. And then we also have another one called Improv. And it's all about how you can use improv in your life, everyday life, and to be successful in the classroom. And so that's just a sneak peek to some of the stuff that we're doing for second year students throughout this semester. I know I'm like leaving folks out and forgetting some, but we really want to make sure that second year students feel a part of our community, and they have always been, but also what it means to be here physically. I mean, so it was really funny at the end of summer when we were working with, my associate director for orientation and our GA and then the orientation leaders. And we were talking about these spotlight tours, actually, like, hey, can you go ahead and sign up for some shifts? They're going to be open to new first years, new transfers, and also second years. One of our orientation leaders, who is a second year, was like, well, before I give the tour, could I also get one? Because and we're like, oh my gosh, yes, we even had like our orientation leaders and our peer advocate leaders, some of our Q&A student assistants who are rising second years as well, had never actually been to campus either. And so
some of my student involvement ambassadors had never been to campus.
Yes. Yeah. So it's been a really exciting time for them too, to kind of, so it's we're welcoming kind of 2 classes of students into our physical community.
So if you're a second year student, whether that's a new student last year or a transfer student, we have lots of stuff for you. I will put in the show notes for this video the links to the 4 student interest groups that Christy mentioned, like Animal Crossing, those groups. Meetup groups are drop in, drop out, come and hang out, meet some people, or you can come every week. And I'll also try and find the information about the Learning Resource Center series for second year students and put that in there as well. Well, Christy, my last question is, what does collaboration look like as we support our second year students?
Yeah, so I think collaboration is really important, right? I mean, we don't have a true second year experience office. And so while the Steffi team is kind of taking the lead in coordinating that, we couldn't do all this on our own. So, and we're not reinventing the wheel. For example, the Emerging Leaders Program is a great example of a program that Student Life is already running. So it's like, well, how do we then make sure our second year students know that's an opportunity for them to connect and learn about leadership development as well. Again, the LRC, they do program, they already do academic success workshops. So it's working with them to say, hey, are there some topics that maybe might be more suitable or really things that second year students might need to be focusing on. So working on with them to do that. First year experiences runs a Wake Up Wednesday program once a month. It's chill, it's breakfast, it's like usually bagels and coffee, faculty. Yeah. And so just stop in, how are you doing? And just providing some space as well for students casually to come in and connect with one another, connect with us, connect with faculty, connect with staff. Yeah, so it's been cool to see what other folks are doing, and also to think a little bit more intentionally about how, like, yes, we're doing this now and it's a need, especially after being in a pandemic, but what are things actually that we should always be doing, whether we have a pandemic or not, and can continue to do to support and serve second year students as they're transitioning on and to, advancing their academic journey here at CU Denver.
Well, second years, if you're listening to this, we got stuff for you to get involved in. We want you to feel welcome here and supported. So I hope you heard that clear message from Christy. I will again put information in the show notes for you so you can have some resources to look at. We want you to keep coming back and watching these videos. We'll continue to introduce you to different offices and folks on campus that are here to support you. And if by chance you're an upper class student and you actually watch this whole video and you have a friend who is new to campus, that's a second year, we'd love if you'd forward this video to them and say, hey, watch this. There's stuff here to support you. Well, Christy, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Folks, we thank you for watching another episode of Coffee and Conversations, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.